Do you believe that the Holocaust was an intentional and genocidal act by the Nazis designed to exterminate the Jewish people?
Yes.
Okay. So Darryl Cooper will not say that. That's a simple thing to say.
Yeah,
he won't say it. You just did.
Dude, this is the gayest struggle session shit ever. So because he won't say it, again, every time you keep telling me not to interrupt, but you interrupt me every time I speak. So you just said a whole bunch of bullshit. So now I'm going to correct and smack down all that nonsense that you just said. Okay. So let me speak now. This is all Alex has. It's fucking pathetic. First of all, you've already reaffirmed in this debate after backing away. First, you say you were just joking. Then you say I am a Holocaust denier. I'm going to need you to make up your mind on that. And if I am one, you're going to have to argue how I am one, especially since you just point blank asked me if I believe in it, and I said yes. This is what Darryl Cooper said, okay? Let's just be clear. And by the way, it's so much worse than what Alex is saying, because Alex, I saw that your exchange on Twitter where you went and listened to his half-hour presentation about the Holocaust in Ukraine. We can get more into that in a second. By the way, Rav, I should correct myself before. Did I say that Alex had advocated that no aid get into Gaza? I'm sorry. His exact words were no, capital N-O, supplies to Gaza until every civilian hostage is released. So that's what Alex called for. No supplies. Sorry if I said aid. Genocide advocate, Alex.
All right. So first of all, I don't know why Darryl Cooper is being brought up here. This is a debate between Dave Smith and Alex Berenson. Alex Berenson, for those that don't know, is a New York Times author in the past. He got famous for being a COVID-19 contrarian. And I believe he's like a producer of some series as well. Anyways, I have never seen Dave Smith so angry before in a debate. This is pretty amusing so far. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Now let's continue.
But anyway.
When did he say that?
When did I say that, Dave? Can you answer off?
On Twitter in 23.
Oh, okay. So a year and a half ago. No. You brought this up a year and a half ago when the war had just begun.
You just went back, dude. You just went back 10 years to a joke I made with Richard Spencer. I'm sorry, you only advocated for the genocide at the beginning, but now that the policy is coming due, you're getting off the sunken ship because there's like babies starving and stuff. So you don't really want to be a part of that, but you do want to smear everybody else. Anyway.
Whereas Dave Smith has been with the Palestinians since day one. Get him, Dave.
I want Israel to. No, you shut up.
Okay.
You shut up, my little man.
All right.
Okay, Alex.
Okay.
You talk a big game over fucking Zoom, faggot. Anyway, here's.
Whoa. Dude, this is turning into a legit fight, not even a debate. Okay, Dave's getting angry now. You can tell.
Here's what I'm
saying. Don't scare me. Okay. You're a little bitch from Brooklyn.
Okay, all right. Okay, okay, guys, stop, guys. Hey, we're not in high school.
No, Rob,
guys,
sorry.
This feels a little bit like high school right now. Let's not call each other names, really.
No, honestly,
you're
probably right. I'm probably honestly.
No more names, guys. No more names.
And I've done literally, I've done so many debates over these years.
This video is gonna get shadow banned. I already know it. This is not gonna get any views. So much swearing and stuff right in the beginning.
I'm sorry, not to say names. I've never seen anything as slimy and disgusting as the way Alex is coming at me here. But let me just say, here was Martyr Maid.
Okay, I just want to say this, guys. No more names. That just looks ridiculous. Like, you guys are smart.
All right. Fine.
Even if we
you're not going to scare me, Dave.
Okay.
I know who you are.
I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to demonstrate in front of the entire audience what a fucking scumbag you are. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to scare you.
I thought we just said no more names. Rob,
I don't care, dude. I don't care. I'm not following
these rules. Please put your boy on a leash. Can you please put him on a leash?
Yeah, Alex, come put me on a leash, buddy. Anyway, Rav,
I don't know, man. I put my money on Dave. This guy Alex, he looks like a little geek. I don't even know who he is like that well.
I don't know if this even makes sense to continue. This guy's too pathetic.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I think we can continue. I think we can keep going.
I played the clip that I needed to play, and people will judge you for themselves.
Alex, just wait till the reaction to this and see how people are judging who.
I'm naive. I hope that when you saw that clip, you would say, you know what? I actually did fuck up here, and I shouldn't have done that. But you are far too deep in bed with this group to admit anything, and that's
okay. Do you
want me to let's play Candace Owens' blood? No. I will talk now. I will talk.
No.
Yeah.
Rav, I mean,
okay.
I'm sorry, but there's no way this pussy is going to bully me around.
Yo, the fact that Alex is actually trying to bully Dave Smith around, like Dave Smith is cracking up. I'm cracking up. Like, who does this guy think he is online? It's hilarious. It's like a little nerd kid who tries to act tough online. Rav, you're not a good moderator, buddy. You got to control both people. You're not able to control the conversation right now. Just saying.
You will be quiet for a minute. You will
can we let Dave? I think Dave
then I won't either, dude. We'll just talk over each other.
Okay, Dave was in the middle.
I'm done letting you lie.
Okay, Alex, can we let Dave finish?
To say that.
I haven't lied.
Guys, you haven't lied?
Hey, guys, stop. Yes. Okay, Dave, you're going to finish, and then I have a question, and then Alex, you're going to talk. All right, Dave, finish.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, Alex did break up a lot of the point I was trying to make there, but no one has denied the Holocaust, including Darryl. Calling it mass murder really seems to indicate that it was the intentional killing, unjustified. Again, dude, I mean, Rob, you might have to mute him or something, but he can't do this every time I speak.
Okay, Alex, can we let Dave finish? Then you can go.
Sure.
Okay, all right.
This is such a womanly thing. Okay. Anyway, so yes, he clearly is not denying. For any reasonable person, they would say like, okay, denying the Holocaust would be saying the Holocaust didn't happen. I don't believe millions of Jews were killed by the Nazis. I think it was only 200 to 300,000 or something like that. Alex has nothing on Darryl saying anything like that. What he's got is him saying it's mass murder, and then he's angry that he won't say, but it was mass murder to eradicate all of the. It's like it's literally he should have purple hair and be in a gender studies class right now. It's insane. But okay, Alex has made a very specific charge in this debate. Let's get back to that. I said back it up. He said I was just joking the way you were just joking. He obviously knows the clip he played was a joke. But then at the end of his next answer, he once again said, Dave, you're also a Holocaust denier. So once more, I'll say, Alex, you're going to make that accusation. It's a pretty big one. Back it up.
Okay.
What do you got?
Rob, is it my turn?
Yeah, and I want you to clarify. Like you think Dave's a Holocaust denier and Darryl Cooper, or one of them?
Darryl Cooper is a Holocaust denier. Okay.
And what does Holocaust denier mean?
And it's not me saying this. It's the Holocaust Memorial Museum saying it. Okay. So Dave is not arguing when he defends Darryl Cooper with me. He's arguing with the Holocaust Memorial Museum. And I'll just, if I may. Am I allowed to?
Yeah, Alex, I want you to talk, but also, can you clarify like what you mean by Holocaust denier?
Sorry, Rob. May I just read for a second? Since
we're
all being quiet now.
Yeah, you can talk.
Bad Hashem Chairman Danny Diane.
But you also got to answer the question of the moderator. You don't just get to talk about what you want to talk about.
Remarks. Tucker Carlson and his guest Darryl Cooper engaged in one of the most repugnant forms of Holocaust denial of recent years. These far-fetched conspiracy theories are not only dangerous and malevolent, they are anti-Semitic. That is not me saying that. It is the Holocaust Memorial Museum, which is sort of, to the extent any place is entitled to comment on the Holocaust and is the keeper of the Holocaust. They're saying it. Now, Dave says he's actually willing to say that the Holocaust was intentional and genocidal. And, he knows what Darryl is doing. He knows that by not saying that, Darryl is denying the Holocaust as the Holocaust Memorial Museum says it. But I guess because he likes Dave, I want to give him the benefit of this. Accepted historical definition of this. Stop making this about me versus Darryl.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you are, though, and you need to stop.
I mean, Alex, you're the one who constantly is bringing up Darryl Cooper in here. Like, why is he so much involved in this debate? He's not even here in person. He's not even here to defend himself. Why are you attacking Dave Smith with Darryl Cooper? It makes no sense to me.
Okay.
No, I'm not. No, I was saying your particular definition.
Dave, you're not going to yell, so we can actually have a conversation.
Yeah.
Okay? So you need to stop. And you need to acknowledge that what I'm saying is backed by his. And now Dave's laughing. When Dave is losing, he starts laughing. Just as he did.
Dude, I'm not losing, man.
Okay. Alex, to be 100% clear,
I'm going to be quiet.
I'm laughing because Rob has no idea what the fuck you're saying, dude.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'm starting to laugh. What is this? That guy Alex is like, yeah, I'm winning this debate. No, you're not, bro. You're not. You're trying to make it seem like you are.
I've made my points, and I'm going to be quiet.
Yeah, Alex, to be clear, I was not debating you. If anything, like I was just helping clarify because I was just confused. Okay. I was not debating you.
Okay. And now listen, I've spoken. I've spoken plenty. I'm going to let Dave, as long as he doesn't lie about me, cool. He can say whatever he wants.
Okay, so I'll get to talk now, and you be okay. So I was not laughing because I'm losing. I'm laughing because the moderator is asking clarifying questions, and from the look on his face, can't figure out what the fuck you're saying. That's what I'm laughing at. And Alex, like, how pathetic is it for Alex Berenson, the guy who's only ever been good on COVID, the only issue in your entire career that you were good at, and you were heroically good on it, man. You were so good on it that we were all championing you for it. And then your defense is, well, the institution that's in charge of this says so. So you might as well be saying, you're not arguing with me, you're arguing with the Center for Disease Control. Wow, Alex, what a point. What the hell does any of that mean? Dude, you listened, or at least you pretended, maybe you lied, you are, I think, a liar, but you said on Twitter that you listened to Darryl Cooper's half-hour segment on the Holocaust in Ukraine, where Darryl Cooper is telling the story. For people who don't know out there, I mean, the Ukrainian chapter of the Holocaust was, I don't know if it's the most brutal, but man, it was fucking horrible. I mean, and I think that was right at the beginning of the Holocaust. I know there's one massacre where 30,000 Jews were killed in one massacre, and Darryl Cooper is telling the story in graphic detail of telling stories about a baby getting thrown into a ravine and a mother diving in after the baby, people being lined up and systematically shot in the head, a mother begging for her daughter to be shot in the head so she's not raped before she's shot in the head. That's the work that you've listened to of Darryl Cooper. And when Rob asks
loves
you,
to talk about dead Jews, we can agree about that.
Darryl
Cooper loves to
let it finish.
I sat there and let you have your whole fucking thing of bullshit lies. Let me say my piece now. And you listen to this guy say that. And then when Rob even asks you, what's your definition of a Holocaust denier? What do you even mean by this? You can't give an answer. All you can say is there's an organization, there's a blatant.
What was your answer, Alex? I didn't hear anything. Yeah, exactly what Dave said. You just said, oh, it's not me saying it. He's not arguing with me. He's arguing with that institution.
Appeal to authority fallacy. So again, what's the answer? You called me a Holocaust denier. Defend that. Right. At what point do you have to back up that accusation? For the first time in this debate, dude, make an argument. What are we doing here?
You can keep
what are we doing?
I'm not debating.
What are you debating?
I'm not making.
Alex, just make the point.
Yelling. Okay.
I'm just yelling. I'm asking you to make an argument.
No,
are you claiming I'm a Holocaust denier or not?
I'm asking you a question. Did you say you were joking or not?
Yes.
Let me ask you
yes, Alex, that was a joke. Have you not picked up on that yet? Yes, that was a joke.
Here's my question to you. Do you think that my tweet of this week was a serious comment that you thought Auschwitz was a spa?
What I thought, okay, listen, dude, if you want to try to actually try to segue back into a real conversation between two men here, it's not that obviously you don't really believe I'm a Holocaust denier. Obviously, you were saying like a tongue-in-cheek thing. The point is that when you, Alex, not a comedian, a fucking New York Times journalist or whatever, a guy who's been in media for all these years, you call me a Holocaust denier even as a joke and then pin it to your fucking Twitter of 500,000 people to try to get as many people to see that as possible. Yeah, I think that's kind of fucked up, dude. That's different. Hold on, not done. That's different. That's different than making an off-the-cuff joke on a podcast, which is obviously a joke. This is putting something in writing and then pinning it for as many people to see it as possible. Like, honestly, Alex, forget it. Listen, I know I've said some things to you. Probably if I was a mature person who had a better upbringing, maybe I wouldn't have fucking, been calling you the insults I am right now. But do you really not see where that's a scumbag move, dude? That's a you didn't, Alex, me and you, we don't know each other super well, but we know each other. We've met each other. We've DM'd before. I caught your back hard during COVID, dude. Not that I'm the most important voice in the world. Not that you're the most important voice in the world, but I went on Rogan and caught your back. I went on Tucker and caught your back. You could have very easily reached out. You could have even quote tweeted, even challenged me and said, hey, Dave, I like what you say on some things. I think it's really messed up that you're defending Darryl Cooper on this. And then we could have had like a good faith conversation. You decided to quote tweet me and say, says the guy who thinks Auschwitz is a spa, and then pin it to your Twitter. So yes, Alex, I get that you're not literally saying, I know that you don't believe that because you're not that stupid, but do you not get where I might feel like, yo, dude, that's like a wild out of pocket thing to come at someone with, especially someone who's been very decent to you.
Okay. You question things, but you've fallen in with this really dangerous group of people. It's so upsetting to me.
Dude, you hung out with...
Yo, so why is he judging Dave Smith on who he's hanging out with? What kind of debate is this? How about we attack the Israel and Gaza conflict and not just hurl personal attacks on each other? This Alex Berenson, I can't believe does the New York Times just hire anyone these days?
Judith Miller and Michael Gordon.
No, I never hung out with Judith Miller.
Okay, they were your colleagues, dude. You were a part of the publication that got 1 million people killed. Who are you to tell me I hang out with a bad group of people, dude? This is on the level of I don't know, Anthony Fauci saying that you talked to a guy who said ivermectin was the cure for everything. Screw you guys, man. You don't get to smear people. Make an argument.
I've been doing nothing.
You to make your goddamn argument. You got nothing.
I've been doing nothing but making arguments. And when I say I say to you, Candace Owens, is committing blood libel, you say, what's blood libel? We can play it for you if you want.
Okay, it's an argument to say Candace Owens is committing blood libel? That's an argument to you?
What is that?
Again, I am so tired of that phrase. What does this whole blood libel thing mean? I hear this nonstop from the Zionists debating. What does that mean, blood libel? Like, I'm sorry. Does anyone else know what that means?
Not a smear. That's a point.
Well, if we play her words,
like, I don't know. Again, I'm not debating any. You know what? I'm done debating any other people or anyone else that I had a podcast with.
You're not this stupid.
No, I'm not at all. I'm smart enough to be doing. Yes, I know. That's why I'm doing quite well.
Very well what Candace gets up to.
Look, Alex, just.
You're smarter than
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not trying to make it like a fallacy myself here. I'm not appealing to popularity, but it's just like, Alex, dude, just look at what the reaction of this debate is going to be, man, and just read the room for a second. No one is buying this. You got it. Like, enough about other people, enough about who my associations are. Your associations are far worse than mine. How about we move on now to actual arguments?
You are afraid to talk about the people you talk to and what.
No, I'm not.
You are Jew washing.
This is so lame, dude. I'm not afraid.
This is the essence.
Did he just say you're Jew washing them? What does that mean? What are these weird phrases, man?
This is the essence of why we're here. It's the essence of why I said.
No, the essence of why we're here is because you pinned to your Twitter that I don't believe in the Holocaust, and you couldn't defend that, and you failed on that. Now,
even if you don't like, you don't like hearing what I have to say.
We gotta go one at a time.
Honestly, what I feel like happened, I wasn't following the story. I think Alex Berenson was like a New York Times author. He wants to be back in the limelight. Dave Smith, he just attacks him just so he could get on a debate with him. And he's just getting destroyed now. But he thought maybe, he'd become popular again or whatever. I don't know who this Alex guy is. Maybe you guys do. I'd never heard of him until Dave Smith and him started debating.
Right. It's too much over each other.
Getting too much chaos.
All I was saying, I'll be done in a quick second, is it's not me being scared. It's me saying, can we just be men here and move on to debating something that matters? And a position I have versus a position you have. Do you want to keep defending Israel through all this shit? Are you trying to jump off the sinking ship now that the genocide is so obvious? Do you want to stop denying and supporting it? Like, okay, do you have a problem with anything? Like, can you take on any argument that I've made? Enough of like, you're saying this guy didn't deny the Holocaust, who clearly didn't, but you claim he did. Okay, what else we got here? Look, what I consider to be really low down, kind of scummy tactics, whether it's, pinning the tweet, calling me a Holocaust denier, or even opening this debate with the Richard Spencer quote clip. I just find that to be really like beneath you. But reason I'm only giving you,
that's something you did, though. I mean,
yeah,
I know we can agree it was a joke. Okay.
Yes. No, it's something I did, and working with Judith Miller and Michael Gordon is something you
did.
No.
I never made Holocaust jokes to Judith Miller. I never even spoke to those guys.
No. I'm so sorry, Alex. I wasn't suggesting you made a joke to Judith Miller. I'm suggesting that Judith Miller literally. I don't know, Rob. You're young for this. I don't know if people can appreciate how important the New York Times was in 2002 and 2003, and how they ran front page stories about Saddam Hussein's nuclear secret sites and how full of shit they were. Go watch, if nobody's watched, by the way, someone whose politics I really disagree with, Jon Stewart, just eviscerating Judith Miller. Man, when that's one of the most beautiful things. It's how you guys
want to defend Judith Miller?
No, that's the point. Of course, you can't possibly. How would you? Her source was Chalabi. How would you possibly defend Judith Miller? No one can defend Judith Miller. Even Judith Miller can't defend Judith Miller. The New York Times had to The New York Times had to apologize for Judith Miller, like officially. My point is that when you worked for an organization that led the country into a war that slaughtered 1 million people, and you didn't resign and you didn't speak up about it, you don't really get to accuse other people of having problematic associations. You're giving. That's my point,
Dave. You're giving the New York Times much too much credit.
No. You're wrong. Nah, dude, you're wrong. Try to downplay it all you want to, but for for people in the internet age now that none of that shit matters at all, people may not remember. But the New York Times absolutely led the news cycle, man. And back then there wasn't really internet news and podcasts and all this stuff.
New York Times, even I remember in 2001, like it was the biggest news outlet back in the day in terms of newspapers. And it probably is still one of the biggest. It just lost a lot of credibility, in my opinion, since Donald Trump became president the first term. That's when this whole fake news started going more viral and people started not trusting the New York Times anymore. Now their credibility and their popularity has gone down the drain. Like, they are probably less popular today than they have ever been historically. So, yeah, I mean, before Donald Trump became president in 2015, 2016, whatever, New York Times was huge. It was huge.
like there is now. And when the New York Times put on their front page that the U.S. has good information that Saddam is building secret nuclear sites, that filtered through Reuters and the Associated Press and NBC and ABC and CBS and all the cable networks. I mean, Alex, you're crazy to downplay the effect that the New York Times had by literally, dude, I mean, it's the most criminal thing that ever happened. They took the neocons guy, the Iranian spy who tricked all of the Israeli spies into, you know this shit, Alex. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong about one thing I'm saying. You know you can't. They published that front page on the New York Times like it was fact. The New York Times itself had to apologize for doing such bullshit propaganda. So don't tell me about my associations from the past, man. Come on, dude. If I was ever a part of that organization, I don't feel guilty for a second about making a joke to Richard Spencer, but if I spent a day in the offices that you inhabited for 10 years, I'd still be taking a shower over that.
This is
not like a Holocaust joke. I just meant like a shower with soap. God, all right, I got Alex on that. Alex likes Holocaust jokes now. Now they're okay. Look, I think it's goofy for anyone to deny that there were millions and millions of Jews who were killed in the most horrific way when Hitler went genocidal in World War II. Also, World War II is the biggest bloodbath in fucking human history, man. And it's just like, God damn it. Even in Ukraine, as we were talking about earlier, the worst or up there with the worst of the Holocaust, certainly at the very beginning, the worst of it. This is like 10 years after the Holodomor. I mean, people were starving to death there. You have the commies, you have the Nazis taking over and occupying. And I do think it's a little bit of a weird thing, especially today, for Jewish people to be sitting here being like, you have to remember and focus and say exactly in the way I want you to say about how our people died, even though it's in the middle of this pool of tens of millions of people dying in horrific ways. And even though right now the issue at hand is actually the Palestinian babies starving to death at the hands of Israel, like I just don't, I think this is a weird thing, and I think it's really bad. Like, I don't think it's something that Jewish people should be doing. I don't think it's something anyone should be doing. Darryl's not denying the Holocaust. I'm not denying the Holocaust. It was horrible what happened. I think most of the people who you're talking, like, I don't even know who are the, like I said, I don't even think David Irving's denying the part that I was just talking about. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong and I missed something. I haven't read his books, like I said, but it's like, what are we talking about, man? There's a real genocide going on right now.
Yeah, I'm actually very disappointed in this debate, not gonna lie, because if Alex started this debate by talking about Dave Smith's joke from 10 years ago, and then it just went downhill after that, it's pathetic. I thought this would be a debate between Israel and Gaza and what Israel's doing right. Like, I thought Dave Smith would be here arguing for the Palestinians, and then Alex would be here arguing for the Israelis. So far, I have seen none of that. None of that.
What you just said you wanted me to say, oh, what Candace is doing is dangerous, what Darryl's doing is dangerous, they're not where I am, I'm in a different place. What you don't understand is that you have so much more to apologize for just for being a part of an apparatus like the New York Times, as they were getting 1 million people killed in Iraq. And Darryl, dude, listen, again, this thing, it's all about how you approach this shit, right? Like after, understand this, Alex, right? Once you start like leveling career-ending smears against someone, we're not having a good faith conversation anymore. If you, just being Alex Berenson, who I respect the fuck out of for your record on COVID, had come to me and said, dude, I really want to talk to you about this stuff, we could have had a really good faith conversation about all of this. The truth is that I have no problem saying that like the Holocaust was a systemic effort to kill all the Jews. But if you ever came at me the way you did at Darryl, and then he responded with what he did, and then you responded by publicly calling him a Holocaust denier, I'm not participating in a struggle session. I'd never go to you then, oh yes, no, it was a systemic effort or anything like that. It's obviously the immediate reaction is going to be like, fuck you. And you know what? Honestly, here's the truth. None of this is really that relevant to right now. There's an actual genocide going on that people are denying. And then there's people like you who are trying to say, hey, but you denied the genocide against my people that happened 80 years ago. People don't really care. Like this is an insane task.
It's interestingly, I actually quite agree with you on that. I mean, I've thought about the Holocaust more in the last week than in the last 10 years. Okay. But what, okay, and we can talk about Israel, and Rob is probably right. Like, there's a lot of places where I agree with you. And
I mean, more than half the debate's over. I have not heard anything about Israel yet. Just personal attacks hurled at each other.
And again, like, war is a moving target. Okay. And you may have thought that this was terrible from the beginning. I did not think that. And I think there are just wars and unjust wars. I think you can conduct wars justly and unjustly. We could talk about that. But I do, I think, to take a hypothetical, if Israel, had dropped a nuclear bomb on Gaza in, November.
I don't think Israel is capable of having a just war. I think it was an unjust war from the beginning, and they just tried to frame it as a just war. And most of the media fell for it. And I'd say most of the media and the Western world is still falling for it. But the floodgates are opening up now.
November of 2023. That would have been unjust. Okay, that would have been unjust even then. Okay, so things change over time, and you may not agree. You may have thought this was terrible from the get-go. But one thing about me, actually, that I don't think you really are really even understanding, honestly, is that I'm not really an ideologue. And if anything, sometimes I'm just a little bit slick, and it seems like, if there's one talent that I have, Dave, it's getting under people's skin. And I clearly got under your skin with this, probably more than I intended to. I mean, there's a reason I got banned from Twitter, right? So.
See, now this Alex guy is proud of getting under Dave Smith in a very weird way. And no, man, this is not the flex that you think it is. I think it's a low blow.
So what I'm not asking you to.
And trust me, it's really not that hard to get banned on social media. People do get banned all the time.
Disavow, Darryl Cooper or Kansas. But what I am saying to you is those people, they do have. I mean, you just proved it to me that you don't have exactly the same take on the Holocaust, and then we can forget the Holocaust, okay? If you want, we can talk Israel, whatever.
I don't.
We can continue.
Well, I don't know. What do you think is the difference between my take and Darryl Cooper's take, or Candace Owens' take on the Holocaust?
You just said it. You said something that Darryl wouldn't say.
Yeah, but that's not having a different take. I don't think you heard the point that I said to you. I don't think you got what I was saying. I'm saying me having the same take I have right now just would not, look, even in the same way when you said to me that you're going to ask me for proof that I'm actually Jewish or proof that my family actually died in the Holocaust, my reaction is, fuck you, dude. Because it started with you calling me a Holocaust denier. So I'm not in the position to now prove to you that I have. However, if we were just having a friendly conversation where you hadn't made these public accusations, I'd be quite happy to talk about a lot of that stuff.
It wasn't an accusation.
Maybe you're not appreciating the fact that you're coming at people in a very aggressive way. And I think for someone who just listened to a half hour of Darryl Cooper explaining the firsthand accounts of the brutality.
And by the way, the reason why he mentioned the half an hour, I think Darryl Cooper's whole series on the Holocaust is many, many hours. I want to say 10 hours, way more than that. And make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps get these videos out to a larger audience and change more minds.
That was imposed on the victims of the Ukrainian Holocaust. After listening to that, and then after his message about how many innocent Jews died of violence and that it's all mass murder, I think it's insane for you to have a follow-up that goes, but you didn't say it was systemic racism. That's my honest take on it. And I think it's
honestly, this guy Alex looks like a clown. Just put a red nose on him. He could pass as a clown.
Again, if you notice, I don't think it's a coincidence that in this debate, Rav asked you, what's your definition of a Holocaust survivor? And you went right to, well, the Holocaust Museum says he did this and this, because almost everybody who's listening would think a Holocaust denier is someone who's saying Hitler didn't murder millions of Jews. Yet you can't find any example of Darryl Cooper saying that, and you can't find any example of me saying that, and yet you've called both of us Holocaust deniers on this podcast tonight, and you can't back either of those accusations up. Okay, so here's the, again, this is really getting I think kind of desperate here. That's not what we were saying. You're changing the words. I didn't say there's no contradiction between my position and Darryl's, and I still don't think there. Hold on 1 second. No. Sorry, I'm going to finish the sentence I was in the middle of. I didn't say there's no contradiction between me and Darryl's position, although I don't think there is, and we can get to that in a second. Your claim was that there's a contradiction between me saying he didn't downplay the atrocities of the Nazis and what I'm saying today. And what is that contradiction?
We really are going round and round in circles.
Just answer
here.
the question, man.
You acknowledge something that he won't acknowledge. That's the contradiction.
That's not what a contradiction is, dude. A contradiction is not that you acknowledge something someone else. A contradiction would be if I said Darryl didn't downplay the atrocities of the Nazis and he did downplay the, or then I said, hold on. A contradiction would be if I said on Rogan's show he didn't downplay the atrocities, and then I said on this show he did downplay the controversies. That would be a contradiction. Right? You don't have one. Just acknowledge. You're smarter than this, Alex. Just be honest.
Okay. You know, this is just so sad. We're 3/4 of the way through the interview, the debate, and the summarized debate, by the way. And if you appreciate these summarized debates, make sure you like and subscribe, because instead of going and wasting your time for 2 hours watching this, you're just watching it for like 30 to 45 minutes. Anyway, so we're 3/4 of the way. They're still arguing over Darryl Cooper and the joke, and is he denying the Holocaust or not? Nothing about Israel. And, you know, a lot of people say that a lot of Israeli supporters just filibuster and just talk nonsense. And that's how they get through these debates. Looks like that's what's going on here.
Be honest for 5 seconds. There's no contradiction.
We are not seeing this the same way.
Jesus Christ. All right. Go ahead, Rav.
And I think we've kind of talked it through as much as
I don't think it's that we're not seeing it the same way. I think it's that you're not being honest, dude. That's really what I think. But okay,
well, I felt that about you over this night a number of times. But, you know,
yeah,
but I thought we were. I thought we were talking. I thought we were back to talking. I thought we were like.
Yeah, no. I'm back to talking. I just asked you you claimed something. I asked you 5 times in a row to just explain it.
And I feel like I've explained it as best.
You have nothing, and yet you're unwilling to just go. All right, I guess there's not a contradiction between you.
This guy, Alex Berenson, really showing up to a debate with Dave Smith, which, you know, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people will watch in his 240p webcam. Like, come on, brother. You could have done better than that.
I feel like I have explained this to you and you are deliberately being obtuse.
Okay, so a contradiction was when someone says something, but then they say another thing that cancels out the first thing they said, or vice versa.
Right. So what did I say that canceled out the first thing? Okay. Yeah, you just don't have an answer, Alex. All right.
Punishment and genocide, and even genocide and a Holocaust. Okay, and I'm not saying that there can't be a Holocaust other than the one we saw in Europe. Okay, in Nazi-occupied Eastern Europe and some in Western Europe in 1941 to 1945. I'm not saying that the Jews are the only ones who could ever have a Holocaust happen to them. If some crazy Israeli if one of those true right-wing nut jobs somehow runs Israel and they drop hydrogen bombs on Gaza, that would be a Holocaust. It would. It's not what's happening right now. What's happening right now, to my mind, is the Israelis have moved out of an active war stage into an occupation stage and are not acting properly.
Are you serious? They're not acting in an active war stage, an occupying stage now. They leveled Gaza. 70 or 80% of Gaza is destroyed. Probably 100,000 people are dead under the rubble still. Are you kidding me? People are just so desensitized to what happened, man. It's pathetic. It hurts. It hurts.
Occupying power and are getting rightly, torn apart for that. That doesn't, but that doesn't make it genocide. Language actually really matters here, Dave. It really does.
Okay.
So this is not me defending. It's not me defending Israel in any way. I'm not Douglas Murray. I don't want to defend the actions that I'm seeing right now. I'm not defending them. It's like I'm not defending Judy Miller. But I think this is a big difference between me and you tonight. Is that I will, and maybe this is what you're saying people don't like about me. Like I really call it like I see it, and Darryl Cooper's no friend of mine, but if he were a friend...
Oh, he's such a tough guy. I just call it as I see it. He sounds like every other Zionist sympathizer.
...of mine, and I thought, dude, you need to acknowledge the intentionality in the genocide here, or you're actually a Holocaust. Now, I would say it to him, even as a friend. And Tucker is a friend of mine, I think, and he was my... my career the last 5 years would be completely different without Tucker. It would. I consider him a personal friend, truly. But what he did with Darryl, I don't like it, and I'm willing to say that out loud. And even if it pisses him off, and it means that he'll never have me on again. I'd love to go back on. Joe, same thing. I'd love to go back on. But if those guys don't want to have me back on, what matters to me more is telling the truth.
Okay, let me just try to get you to really think about something here. You are you were like calling essentially Darryl Cooper a Holocaust denier. Not essentially, you're calling him a Holocaust denier because he wouldn't say it in the way that you felt was right, which is the most.
Can we just acknowledge that this whole debate became about Darryl Cooper being a Holocaust denier or not? Like he's living rent free in Alex Berenson's head. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is a 2-hour debate of whether or not Darryl Cooper is a Holocaust denier. Insane.
No, hold on. Let me just finish my point, and then you can correct where I'm wrong. But you were like, no, it was this. It was the systemic, intentional destruction and elimination of all Jewish people. You know, like that's what that was. But then when we're talking about what Israel's doing in Gaza, you can put it in the language that you feel more comfortable. You can go, look, they had a right to respond. They're now an occupying force who's gone a little bit too far. As an occupying force, they have a responsibility for that. Listen, man, Israel has been an occupying force in Gaza since 1967. And if you want to go through any of the, if you want to go through the bullshit of the disengagement in 2005, we could talk all about that. They've occupied the Strip the entire time. Israel has been the sovereign of Gaza since 1967. They are, and they also propped up Hamas intentionally so that they would never have to make a deal with the Palestinians. And then when that group, let me finish. And then when that group committed a terrorist attack, they used that as an excuse to just slaughter the people. Listen, there was as everybody here listening knows quite well, there was a case by South Africa that was brought to the International Court of Justice in December of 2023, alleging a genocide. And the International Court of Justice, by the way, I'm no fan of global governance or the UN or any of that, but they ruled it was plausible and then kind of kicked the can.
Are we appealing to authority here?
No. Let me finish my point. As I just said, here's the difference between me and you. I'm not saying they said it, therefore it's right. I'm saying they said it, then I'm noting I don't really even agree with them existing at all. But I will make the point that in South Africa's case, they had all types of quotes. Some of them, by the way, taken out of context and a little bit misleading. Some of them not at all. And they had all types of arguments about why this is genocidal in intent. We are now 19, I apologize if I'm bad. 21 months. I'm not good with math. 21 months later. No, I think actually I'm right, because I'm not talking about the beginning of the war. I'm talking about since the ICJ case. But either way, we're on the same page. We're 19 months later, and the IDF are shooting at desperate people trying to get food. Admitted. On the record, IDF soldiers, people are starving to death after a 3-month total blockade of all aid going in. So like, again, all I'm saying is that maybe, Alex, something you could consider is that when you're talking about a genocide that happened in the 1940s, that was to your group and my group, you demand that people describe it for what it was. But when it's happening right now, today, you sit there and go, yes, is Israel overreacting? Are they an occupying force? Well, I suppose they were right at the beginning. Like when they were slaughtering these babies at the beginning, that was kind of okay, but I think they've taken it too far. I just see I see a real contradiction here.
That has been a great point by Dave Smith. The double standard that Alex Berenson has. Great point by Dave Smith. And you got to be very sharp to make that point live on the debate. By the way, this was a live debate. Great point by Dave Smith.
The empathy that you demand from other people for your group versus what's actually going on right now. And I will tell you this, and this is the truth. I think that 90%, give or take, of the Holocaust denial that you see on Twitter today, or that you see people flirting with, not Darryl Cooper or Candace Owens, I'm talking about people who really deny the Holocaust. 90% of that is that they just resent that. They resent the idea that we have to forever always pay homage and respect to your group suffering, and yet we're not allowed to just have a real conversation about what's going on today.
Okay, so I listened and I hear you. I don't think you heard me at all earlier. I'm as I said to you, I don't know, this is now 2 hours in. At some point, I've had to think about the Holocaust more in the last 5 days than the last 10 years. I'm not demanding empathy for anything. This is something that happened. It happened, as you said, 80 years ago. Let's just acknowledge what it was and try to make sure it doesn't ever happen again.
It's happening right now is the point.
But it's not happening now. There's not.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Okay. I understand, and I've read, the Times piece, yesterday or the day before, by an Israeli and a couple of Arabs saying that they believe there's a Holocaust genocide happening right now. And I know what you're saying. I've seen the pictures. Okay, again, language really does matter, and you don't seem to think it matters. Israel can be doing terrible things that perhaps one day they will be held accountable for, and not committing a genocide or a Holocaust. Okay, war crimes happen in war. Israel was attacked horrendously on October 7th. And, almost immediately you said, oh, well, we need to sort of put October 7th in context. I don't think there's a context to, there's a context, but I don't think there's any excuse or any justification for an attack on civilians and, people dancing at a rave. Okay. And I believe, and we disagree about this, that Israel had the right to invade Gaza, which it had not occupied. Okay. It had not occupied Gaza.
So what about when Israel's attacking civilians in Palestine now, or the Palestinians? Do they have a right now to defend themselves?
Occupied Gaza, this presumably wouldn't have happened. What I would have liked to see is Israel destroy Hamas, occupy Gaza, and return sovereignty to Gazans and hopefully get a solution that's a permanent peace. Okay, I think that's where Israel should have gone and what they should have tried to do. To my mind, they haven't done that. And so I'm not going to defend their behavior recently, but I will defend a war, and a war can cause civilian casualties, Dave. It does, wars cause civilian casualties. No, it's not. It happens. It's an unfortunate and tragic part of war. But the alternative Israel had on October 7th or October 8th was to allow more attacks on its civilian population. Would you agree that that's not something that they could have done?
I mean, look, dude, again, like I said before, Israel has, if you want to say they weren't occupying them before October 7th, okay, fine. You're right. They were just controlling the airspace, the sea space, the electricity, the water, the fishing rights, who could come in, who could go out, and a full blockade around the country. That's all they had. Not an occupation or anything like that. And from 1967 to 2005. So yes, I do think that the standard is a little bit different. If there's it's a little bit different if, say, you have Mexico and the United States, two governments, living side by side, and one attacks the other one. It's a little bit different to say, let's say in 1780, we put all of the Native Americans on an Indian reservation, but didn't let them leave and didn't let them trade with the world and didn't let them fish off their own coast and kept them in there. And then, say, in 1850, they launched an attack. That's a little bit different than a neighboring government just launching an attack. And then specifically keep in mind that it was Netanyahu's strategy to prop up and keep Hamas in power just so you would never have to free those Native Americans and you would never have to give them their own state. That once you do that, if there's an attack against you, no, I don't think that justifies leveling 80% of Gaza, bringing the entire thing down to the ground, and then moving into your plans to ethnically cleanse the entire strip, which is what we're seeing right now. And I'm sure the New York Times will find a way to, cover and run cover for, I know they're not allowed to say the occupied territories or something like that. We'll see what happens. I mean, I know everybody now, I think, is trying to get off this sinking ship because there's just no backing out of it. But I think you're kind of missing my bigger point, which is just that, even you could say, I haven't thought about the Holocaust as much as I have in the last few days today. But look, man, what's the way you're coming at me and the way you're coming at Darryl wasn't for a conversation. It's to accuse us of not appreciating the Holocaust as much as we should.
Gosh, this was a tough watch. Wow. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next one.